how did you each become a part of this musical? John, I'll start with you.
Yeah, in the summer of 2017, I ran into Michael Mayer, my old friend and close collaborator, at a film premiere, and I was unemployed, so I was doing what I often do when I'm unemployed, which is to not go to the barber for as long as I can. And so I had like a shaggy beard and long hair. And my understanding of it is that Michael had been talking with Sean Huddock and Matthew Maston, our two lead producers, who had been, it was their idea to try and conceive some kind of show with the Avett Brothers music. And he said, oh, I ran into Johnny Gallagher the other night, and he's like, he's got this beard now and this long hair. I feel like he'd be really right for this Avett thing, And there was no script. John Logan had just signed on to write the book, but he hadn't written anything yet. And I went out with the producers, and they said, we're working on this Avett Brothers musical with Michael. He thinks maybe you might want to do it. And I said, well, I love Michael. I love the Avett Brothers. I don't even need to read the script. I'll, sign me up. And that was about a year before I even saw any of the book. So I've been, kind of loosely attached to this thing for about 5 years or so. And then, then I read the script that John wrote, and it's outstanding. It's up there with one of the best books of a musical that I've certainly ever read. And that was how I affirmed my status in Swept Away.
Well, you have the look for it. So Michael was like, oh, he looks just like a brother. So it's like, we should just cast it.
Right. Exactly.
Stark, how did you get involved?
So my first introduction to the Avett Brothers as a fan was through my friend John. Back during American Idiot, John had a record player down in his dressing room and always had music playing. And one day this band was playing, and I said, who's this? And he said, oh, you've got to get into these guys. They're fantastic. That was 2010. So I became a fan back then. And then in the summer of 2019, Michael Mayer reached out to me. I had worked with John Logan on a pilot years ago. And so I knew him as well, and they invited me to do this 2-week workshop lab thing. And it went well, and they offered me the gig back then, thinking that we would be doing this in the summer of 2020 here in Berkeley. And of course that got pushed a few times, and now we're here now. So I'm grateful to, again, just, work seems to beget work. And for me, it's a real testament to just sort of being professional, doing your job. And the more you do that, the more reliable you prove yourself to be, and people seem to come back.
It must feel so great to be performing in front of a live audience again, because this is what we've missed. I mean, what do you remember about that first performance doing Swept Away in front of a live audience that is sitting there, that living, breathing thing between you guys and the audience?
I have chills right now just thinking about it. And the fact that we are back doing this again. Every night, it's this. I will say that the show is there's a high emotional cost to do this show, for me, for John, for all of us, and it can be difficult to pull yourself up and get ready to go, because it's quite draining. But as soon as the show starts, and as soon as we step out and we're in the light, and you feel that audience, it's fine. It's all worth it.
John, yeah, there was this feeling, I've been saying for the last few years, because I'm always filled with uncertainty and, skew, kind of pessimistic over optimistic, where people would ask me about the show, and I'd say, well, I love it. I think it's fantastic, but I don't know if anyone's it's really intense, and it's kind of a lot. I don't know if anyone's I don't know if it's going to be people's cup of tea or not, and that first, preview that we had in Berkeley, all of that went away. I was suddenly kind of free of that doubt and those expectations that I had, kind of put on the show. And I realized I'd been, letting the doubt get the best of me, because the audience was just so eager to get on board with us, to be like, well, okay, we don't care where the story is going, but we're on board. We're going with you, guide us through. And it's intense. It's a lot. Like Stark said, there is an intense emotional cost. And it really is one of those shows where by the end of it, you really feel like you've been through something with your audience. You know, it's like we took this trip together. It's just like we took this trip together. It's just us out here. You know, you really feel that on this one. It's really special.